This is the recap, this is the ammo and the sniffers. Every single band out there using their platform to speak up for the Palestinian people. Because we must.
Well, I thought it was appalling, to be honest, and I think the BBC and Glastonbury have got questions to answer about how we saw such a spectacle on our screens. But I also think it's a pretty shameless publicity stunt, which I don't really want to give too much indulgence to for that reason. What we should be talking about this week in the context of Israel and Gaza is the fact that Israeli settler terrorists attacked a Christian village this week, setting it on fire. The fact that I met the Red Cross and Red Crescent this week talking about not just the humanitarian tragedy, catastrophe today, but the risk of the spread of disease over the summer and famine in the autumn. And indeed the fact that we saw that chant at a music festival when there were Israelis at a similar music festival who were kidnapped, murdered, raped, and in some cases still held captive. So I just say that whether it's a Palestinian or an Israeli, whether it's a Christian, a Jew or a Muslim, all life is precious, all life is sacred. And I find it pretty revolting we've got to a state in this conflict where you're supposed to sort of cheer on one side or the other like it's a football team. Well, I'd say sort of two things in response to those words from the Israeli embassy. Firstly, I do think that if I take the equivalent of the war in Ukraine, I'm unequivocal about which side of that war I'm on. I want Ukraine to win. Would I be celebrating or chanting for the death of Russian soldiers? No, I want to see an end to the war and I want to see an end to the conflict. I'd also say to the Israeli embassy, get your own house in order in terms of the conduct of your own citizens and the settlers in the West Bank. So, you know, I think there's a serious point there by the Israeli embassy I take seriously. I wish they'd take the violence of their own citizens towards Palestinians more seriously. When we look at how Israel's conducting its war in Gaza, I think it's completely unjustifiable. And, you know, we all condemned and continue to condemn what happened on October the 7th. We all want to see the return of the hostages, and there's no justification for inciting violence against Israelis.
All right.
But, you know, the way in which Israel's conducting this war has made it extremely difficult for Israel's allies around the world to stand by and justify. In fact, we've got to do the opposite as an international community, which is to challenge and urge a change of course.